Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Art Whisper 88. Again, these are my index tab dividers or folder dividers, and I find them to be very useful to make masks or stencils. Now I took my printing bed off so you can see, because these are transparent. Now you can buy the opaque ones or colored ones, but these are what I had. I really prefer the ones with a slight tint, or some of them are colored like this one. These are easy to see when you put them on the plate. But I had these on hand, so I might as well use them. So what I'm going to do is cut some shapes out. Now these are just very arbitrary shapes. Okay. Some are little, some are large. Now I don't know how well this shows up on the camera, but you get the idea. Okay. That's enough to work with. You'll see more clearly later, but I saved both of the cutouts. They look like little balloons. Okay. I saved these cutouts, and then I have these larger pieces as the preliminary masks. So you'll see what I am trying to do in a moment. But right now it's not easy to visualize. So here is my printing bed, and I'm going to take these pieces that I cut out and lay them down like so. Right, now it's very hard to see right now, but once I start inking it with the Mars Black, you'll see what I mean. Okay. I'm using a 4-inch brayer. No, the original plan was to use wax paper as a mask, but I still prefer this plastic folder because they're more sturdy and they can be washed, so I can use them several times. Wax paper would be fine for one session, but I'd have to toss it. Now, another material that would be useful would be mylar or a plastic sheet, but I don't have that right now. I'm just making do, and like any resourceful cook in the kitchen, you use what you have instead of going out and buying this and that. You make do with what you have. Okay. This is an old dish pan that I salvaged. See, now you begin to see the shapes that I cut out. They were hard to see at first because they are transparent. Okay, I think I have them all. I don't have any tiny pieces. Okay, so now you see the layout and the shapes. But first, I need to clean up this smear here. I really should be using a Q-tip, but I have the rag on hand. Okay. So now the next step is to dry this. This is my first layer, so I'm going to dry it. Okay, here is my next step. This is Neutral Gray by Soho Acrylic. And some burnt sienna. So I'm going to start with the burnt sienna first. So the second layer is supposed to pick up the first one. Just clean out the edges. Okay, again, I will be using my Richardson 22 by 30 88-pound printmaking paper. I'm pressing really hard because this is a wide area. This is, by the way, this is an 18 by 24 poster size gel plate. This is the largest gel plate in production. I call it a monster plate. It really is big. And it presents some challenges. It's not as easy to handle as the smaller ones for obvious reasons. You have more space to work with. But for me, the huge advantage is in terms of demonstrating how to compose your pieces. It's much easier to see on a large plate than on a small one. I can place more elements in it. Okay, so as usual, I will leave this on for 5 minutes and I will be right back. Looks like the weathered walls on the street. I think that's pretty cool for a first layer. And I'll see if I can salvage this ghost here. No, I haven't pulled a ghost print in a very long time, so I'm gonna give this a try. This is sand. I'll just put a little bit of vermilion here. Okay, let's see how we did here. This is a very cool ghost print. I actually haven't pulled a ghost print in a while. Check this out. It almost looks like a photograph. Okay, very different from the first pull. Two different worlds. So I will air dry both of these and keep going. Okay, here we are at the second portion where I place a second layer. Now these have been washed, so they're a little slippery. I have to dry them. Okay, now I will be using this, it's called sand, it's like a beige color, and I'm just gonna not use the nozzle. Oh, I mixed a little bit of water with this because it's getting towards the end of the bottle and the paint is getting very thick. So when that happens, I mix a few tablespoons of water just to loosen the paint. And since this is fairly an elaborate setup with stencils, I just have to make sure I get into all the little nooks and crannies and take my time. Okay. Okay. Okay, here's the exciting part. Let's see how we did here. I'm glad the registration is pretty decent. This has a very mid-century modern look. That's what I was aiming for. I like that. Now, I have to make a note to myself that during the heat of making this art, sometimes I forget what is right side up and upside down, and I just have to make a note to myself to always remember to keep this top up and this side down. Otherwise, if I place the paper upside down, the registration is going to be off, and that would be terrible. So just a note for myself and for all of you who do printing, always remember what is right side up and upside down. So I will air dry this and I will be right back. Okay everybody, here's my favorite part of this video where I get to show you the final product. So this is the first pull with the different layers. Let me show you a close-up. Now since this paint was diluted with a little water, the effect is a little more transparent. Because usually light colors are opaque, but when they get diluted, they become more transparent. Now, if I wanted this to be even more transparent, I could use gloss medium or matte medium, but that will be for another video. So you can see the interplay of different shapes, cutouts. They're kind of interlocking like a puzzle. And I did borrow this color scheme from a lot of mid-century modern work. Okay, that is the first piece. Now the second piece is totally different. Has more of a minimalist vibe, and I do like it just the way it is. I don't think it needs anything else. I will show you the background. Background has this very beautiful, subtle textures, and I would hate to hide them behind another layer. So I think this is a standalone. And this is a very interesting texture. This reminds me of the decaying walls that I see on the street. So this is more of a minimalist kind of aesthetic. Okay, so now this layer of Lucas sand is somewhat dry. I'm going to pick this up with a bright color. This is Blick Cadmium Red. Cadmium red on one side and little burnt sienna on this side. And I will have a little fun with some metallics. I'm going to do some copper on this side. Let's see how this works out. Okay, let's see how this works out. Now, actually, I want to add a few marks. Just use my silicone tool to make some very fine squiggle marks, just to break up the very plain surface. I think it adds some texture and some interest. Let's see how we made out here. Okay, I think this is a great first layer. I think this could benefit from a third layer of black. And my plan is to use a very intricate arrangement of smaller stencils. Pretty cool. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, here goes. Now this also has been thinned down with some water because I'm approaching the end of the bottle. Now when paint is thinned down like this, it has a very different effect. The textures are more pronounced. And the surface is not as opaque as you would get when you use it straight out of the bottle or tube. So you can experiment with different consistencies of paint depending on what effects that you were after. Again, I will introduce some marks here. So here's the first pull, and I'm hoping that the layer of black is going to give it some definition. Very dramatic. Oh, I forgot a stencil. This really looks like a woodcut. Okay, pretty cool. So I will air dry this and then recap. Okay, everybody, this has dried very nicely. Here's a close-up. I think the textures are very reminiscent of a woodcut. The grains look like wood. See, even this part where I forgot the stencil, I think the effect is very interesting. There's a silhouette of the stencil, but there's a texture inside. See, the texture of the black is very clear here. I think it adds a lot of interest as opposed to if they were just plain black. Especially this part. It's like a mesh almost. And that's in part because the brayer has a thick layer of dried paint, and that causes this texture to happen. Okay. I like this last one the most. So I hope you like this video. Please share this with your friends. Give me a like and a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Thank you all you wonderful viewers who have made it possible to make this channel reach its goal of 16,000 subscribers. I'm really happy, and I'm just gonna keep on rolling and maybe aim for 20,000 subscribers. Who knows? But thank you anyway. You are all so wonderful and supportive. Thank you, and I hope to see you next time.